Hi, this is Chris Howard, host of Plugged In with Chris Howard. BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for all your sports betting action. BetOnline has more ways to stay in on the action with the latest odds, news, scores, even live in-game betting while the games are being played. With the largest selection of odds on everything from Major League Baseball, NHL, and UFC, and professional golf, BetOnline remains the number one source for all your sports wagering info. In between games, head over to the BetOnline's casino with all the top Vegas-style games, including poker and live casino. BetOnline, the game starts here.
If you could be anyone, who would you be? A doctor performing life-saving surgeries, a rock star playing in sold-out arenas, or a mom to 100 babies? For over 2 decades, one video game franchise has let millions of players live out their wildest fantasies, building the life of their dreams or nightmares. This open-ended world-building game of social psychology has stood the test of time, even amidst a rapidly changing video game landscape. Its secret? Find your audience and give them what they want. And now, as the franchise celebrates its 25th anniversary, it boasts 85 million players worldwide. Not so bad for a game that almost wasn't made at all. And that's why this week's On Brand is on The Sims.
You're all jazzed up, really having a cow. You want your favorite show and it's on right now. It's on Brand.
Welcome to On Brand with Jon and Marisa. I am Jon.
I'm Marisa.
Okay. The Sims. Now, I know The Simpsons. The whole time you were reading that, I was like, I thought it was Minecraft, because I'll be honest, I don't know what Minecraft is, and I know that people play it. And then I thought it was that other game where you, like, build an island, and you have little things on an island, and, like, people go visit your island.
Oh.
You know what I'm...
Animal Crossing?
Animal Crossing. Okay. These are games, like, I'm only a Mario boy.
Uh-huh.
And a classic 80s video game. Last night I was playing, like, Dig Dug.
Last night you were playing Dig Dug.
Last night I was playing Dig Dug.
Where? Why?
I'm house sitting right now, and the place I'm house sitting has a sit-down console with like a million like 80s games.
That's fun. That's fun.
It is fun for like 10 minutes, and then it's like, and I get bored with 80s games so fast now.
This was before it was like a team of 100 scientists to design a game that's so addictive that you will literally let your family perish. So
well,
you can play.
I mean, the whole like consumerism of 80s video games, as I'm sure you're aware, they were incredibly challenging because they wanted you to keep feeding quarters into the machine.
For sure, it was all about the quarters.
Yeah, so they didn't want it to be easy. But then I played some game I hadn't played before that was kind of Pac-Man-y, and I couldn't die. It was like, I got so bored, and I'm like, okay, round 11, and like I got my name. I had got to put my name in it, which I do enjoy because I have a 3-letter name, so I can always just put Jon. I don't have to put JJ.
Nobody's like Jeremy Orville Gordon. Wait, I thought your name was Jog.
You thought my last name's Gordon?
I think I have jogging on the brain. I thought that your name would be J-O-G.
Do you have jogging on the brain because you've given up on Jog Club or because you've started it back?
No, I think, it's probably in the back of my mind as one of my biggest regrets.
Yeah. We're going into 2025 strong.
When we tried to schedule the recording today, you said you were running errands. Jon, what errands? I wouldn't be me if I didn't ask, what is a Jon errand for a Friday morning? Jon... You didn't say, I'm going to Trader Joe's. You didn't say, I'm running by the bank.
I need to go to Trader Joe's. Okay, let's talk about Trader Joe's.
No.
I have a new craving.
Okay, what is it?
And they're already out of them. Those stupid, if you didn't get them for Valentine's Day, they're called Sugary Hearts Rice Crackers.
Oh, yeah.
They're shaped like little hearts. And last night I was like, ooh, I should get a couple bags of those before they're gone. They're not going to be back till next year. I was in Trader Joe's, and he's like, ooh, they're gone. And I was like, ugh. Cut to me in my car, calling the next closest Trader Joe's. They're like, we've only got 2 left. So they held them for me, and I ran over and got them. So that was last night's unexpected
That wasn't
errand.
even your errand of the day?
No.
Where were you today?
I was at a record store. Unexpectedly. Why? Because I got an Insta story pop-up that Sabrina Carpenter had dropped some signed vinyls. So I needed to go grab one.
Did you grab one?
I grabbed one.
One? One? That Patreon money's going real quick, Jon.
Listen, I grabbed one for me and one in my pile of things that will eventually be my retirement fund. And what I learned is you can only buy one, but there's a couple stores that sell them.
Yeah.
I waited in line to get the one and then buzzed over to Amoeba. And everyone in line at Amoeba was the people I was in line with at Super
You
Vinyl.
went to 2 record stores today?
How else am I going to get 2 signed Sabrina Carpenter vinyls?
We were waiting for you to come over to record.
No. No. Al and I said that we were going to record later in the afternoon because we have to go to our Titanic escape room tonight. So I already have to come over here once tonight. And I was like, can we kind of combine the 2 things so I'm not driving back and forth all day? And then all of a sudden this morning, you guys are like, we're recording in 5 minutes. Where's John? I was
Meanwhile,
standing in line.
you're at one of 2 record stores.
I have a life outside of the pod.
Did you buy anything else today?
No. Well, a slice of pizza because all of a sudden I have to eat breakfast and lunch. Now my tummy hurts. It was spicy pepperoni.
You are a spicy pepperoni.
You can't make me laugh. So this has to be a very dry.
It will be a very serious episode.
I don't have my computer. I don't have my banter document. I guess we've already talked about banter. Oh, someone wrote me this morning and was like, John, did you see the new Trader Joe's insulated totes?
Oh.
And I was like, oh, you're going to want to listen to episode 3 of Off Brand because I have some thoughts on this. She's like, you better have gotten Marissa one. I was like, be sure to tune in.
Oh my gosh, that is the most shocking reveal of 2025 so far.
Yeah.
Is you turning. I mean, that's actually for people who aren't subscribed to the Patreon.
They don't know they'll never know what we're talking about.
You have to subscribe to learn John's feelings about the insulated tote.
Yeah.
Quite shocking.
Yeah. Let's just say you can stop sending me links.
John, have you ever played a computer game?
Okay, so I have years ago, before I had a computer, when I lived with my dad, he had, this is old, this is computer game.
Yeah.
He had floppy disks, those big squares.
Yeah, you can't touch the middle. You're gonna wanna, but don't touch the middle.
There's always something you can't touch with media. You can't touch the tape. You're not supposed to touch your record. Don't get fingerprints on the CD. Just let us touch it. Let us lick it.
I bet you were the kid who you would touch the middle of the floppy.
No, I was a good boy.
You were.
Is floppy what I'm thinking of? It was the 5-inch floppies, not the 3-inch ones.
Well, there were the ones that were literally floppy. You could bend those.
Yes.
And then there were the hard. I think they might have still called them floppies, but they were hard.
Okay.
And they also had a part that you couldn't touch. It was like a rectangle, a metal rectangle at the bottom.
Let's just say I'm also hard and have something you can't touch.
Let's just say I'm floppy and you can't touch my middle.
I am floppy. But yeah, so I would sit at his desk, now looking back on it, it's so cute. He would be out or in bed and I'm sitting at dad's desk. With
it was at the time where the computer was it had its own furniture. It was a hub of the home. It had the big tower.
You had to turn it on and then go make a sandwich while it warmed up and made a bunch of clicks and clacks.
A lot of designated slots for your little discs. A lot of places for things, shelves and cubbies.
A great place to add some sound effects here, talking about the clicks and clacks of booting up an old computer.
Can you add a boot up sound here, Al?
But not the expensive Apple one.
No, we want cheap PC.
And I can't remember what I played. It was something. It's so boring. I'm not one of. It's I have to hit the up arrow to move one. It's so stupid.
You're not a gamer boy.
I love Mario.
Mm-hmm. You love Mario so much, but it didn't expand into. You didn't have curiosity for any other franchise.
No, there was a handful. My sister and I played a game called Humans when before I moved to California.
You're still trying to play that game. Trying.
You feel good?
Yeah,
that feels good? You feel strong, like a strong, independent woman?
It does.
And that game was fun. So I have a very soft spot for that.
How'd you play Humans?
Humans was such a cute little video game where you evolve over time. You're this one little man that can't do anything. And then he has to meet someone and you have to stand on each other's back to get up the thing. And it's you have to keep constantly team working and evolving. I don't think it was popular at all.
That reminds me, there was a Lemmings game that we played a lot when I was a kid where it was it feels very similar. It was you're a bunch of lemmings and you try to get them to not jump off a cliff.
Right.
Games were so simple. They had 3 steps.
Yeah.
And that was a fun era. Nowadays, we try to play, we'll play games together on the Switch or whatever. We play Mario Party and stuff like that. You guys tried to play the new Mario. It was probably 5 years old, where you were Cappy, you remember? And you kept flipping all around and
nobody wanted to play with me
because
in that Mario, you were Mario, but he has a hat. And so you can play with two people. One person controls the hat, so you can reach things that are like high up. And Alistair and most of my friends know me well enough to know that if I'm a Cappy, I'm not going to stay on your head. So it's like as soon as I get the remote control, I'm like...
It was very rare for Cappy to become Mario's mortal enemy. To be trying to distract and foil Mario at every turn.
We get like pop-ups from Nintendo on, we're not sure you understand how you're supposed to embrace Cappy. I was just flying around the whole kingdom.
Insert Cappy's sound here, Al. The sound of Cappy.
I think it's like, and I could be wrong, but it's...
That's exactly it. Actually, you don't need to insert it. Just replay the sound John just made right now.
So Sims to me is like a thrift store video game. It's like something I would see like in like I would see the box like in the cab like the glass counter at a thrift store or at a Goodwill in a pile by the media.
Shocking.
It had like a picture of like a sleek 90s woman in sunglasses or something like that. I mean, I could be wrong about all this, but these are the images that are in my head.
Yeah, you're in the right area. I don't know if I frequently come across them in thrift stores, but then again, I'm not looking. But if they were, I think they would be behind glass, which by the way, who decides what gets behind glass at the thrift store?
Oh my gosh.
I find that to be all over the damn place.
Some teenager. This should definitely be behind glass. And now it'll be like a DVD set, but then you'll be like, "Ooh, it's behind glass. How much is that?" They're like $12.
It's like what, the things that are now locked up at the grocery store. Talk about.
I made a video about this in like
list.
2015. It was the first time I'd seen it happen. I was in Vons on. It's called the Hollywood Vons. And I understand cigarettes being behind glass. But one day I went in there, and at the front of the store, cigarettes were behind glass, laundry detergent was behind glass, like everything. Laundry detergent isn't even like an easy grab and go thing. It's
That's
like,
a bulky item.
That's like one of those ones where you see videos where the women are, I'm sorry, usually women are putting it under their dresses. I don't know where it goes after that. And then they waddle out of the store with it.
That's interesting. I haven't heard the statistics that most shoplifting is done by women, but that's an interesting one. Well, now there's a grocery store near our house where literally the entire aisles are under lock and key. If you want deodorant, if you want Advil, if you want anything, you have to wait 45 minutes for somebody to come over and give you a little key. It is humiliating.
Target's doing it too. Boxers are under glass. Everything's under glass.
And it's just not fun. It feels like it violates like HIPAA or something because they come over and I'm like, I have diarrhea. I need Imodium. And it's just like, they look at you and they're like,
I mean, I guess
not fun.
Yeah.
They're judging your purchase.
I mean, that's like when I had to buy that medicine for beep this out. Yeah, they kind of like shame you.
They shame you. And imagine if you have to ask somebody to unlock your medicine.
Yeah.
That's just mean.
It's just mean.
They should put embarrassing medicines, like you should be allowed to get those freely. And then things that are not, what's like the most embarrassing medicine is medicine. The least embarrassing medicine is probably Advil.
Yeah. It should be like in the 70s and 80s when you would go to a video store and there was like in the back of the store, there was a curtained area where you could look at, adult movies. There should be adult medicines in Target.
There should be.
You have to go. And then you're just in there with all the other like disgusting people.
The disgusting people. And you're in a disguise. You have a trench coat and like a fake mustache. Do you feel comfortable asking somebody for medicine if you need it?
Sure. I don't care. I surprisingly don't need it that often. I was thinking about that the other day. Someone donated some Excedrin at this thing I work at. And I was like, I was thinking about, I never take, God, now I'll have it all the time, but I never really get headaches or like, I'm sick if I'm like going to get like, I'll get NyQuil or DayQuil or those types of things. But I don't usually need a lot of medicine.
God, I love medicine. It's like I talk about, I long for the past quite a bit. When medicine does what it says it's going to do, like that you just swallow a little pill and then your headache goes away. Nothing works like that.
Yeah.
It is truly a miracle to be alive in this era.
A little peek inside to me, of course. This is going to be an of course.
We
Medicine would be one of those things back in the day when I would work in different offices that I would steal.
Oh.
Like batteries.
From the first aid kit?
Yeah, like they would have like, or like on set, they would have like a giant Costco thing of like 1 million Tylenols.
Yeah.
Like I would like refresh my medicine cabinet. I would take some, not the whole bottle, but I would just take little Ziploc baggies full of different medicines.
Stealing medicine is very on brand for you.
So on brand.
It's so on brand.
So on brand.
The new NBA and MLB season is in full swing, and BetOnline has you covered with the best odds and biggest promotions and live in-game betting on all your favorite teams. Head to BetOnline today to stay updated on all the action. BetOnline, the game starts here.
This is your before and after story, where your first steps towards a new life-changing career begin. Southeastern College can take you there. We offer in-demand hybrid and online programs with hands-on training, led by in-field career professionals, and career services to put you on the path to a rewarding and fulfilling future. This is where your transformation begins. Southeastern College, your future is bright. Visit sec.edu to get started.
Well, let's talk about The Sims, because this is a huge franchise. If you are listening and you played The Sims, or you're like a Sims person, I'm dying to hear from you, because I am not. I've never played it, and I know I can't, because it would literally ruin my life. I would turn my back on all of my loved ones, and I would devote my time to doing nothing else. This is so addictive for someone with my personality. I can already tell.
Well, then, before we get into it, how did you land on Sims?
The Sims just celebrated, I think it was February 4th, the 25th anniversary of the launch of the first game.
Okay, so and that popped up in like your Instagram.
So this is a huge year for The Sims, and yeah, so this is important. If you're celebrating the Sims anniversary, then this is huge for you.
So when Sims was created, the melting pot was already 25 years into what they're doing. They were in that boring phase of like, we'll open 2 to 3 stores a year.
So now, instead of using Titanic as our benchmark, if that doesn't really work out dates-wise, we'll use the melting pot, where they were at on their timeline of expansion and eventually contraction. Okay, that makes sense. I think that's very helpful for people who really remember that episode. So we'll take it back to 1984. This is the era of the video games. You were talking about like Pac-Man, Space Invaders. Those games are at their Donkey Kong, the quarter games. But one man saw potential for the at-home console customer, specifically owners of the 1982 gaming console, the Commodore 64. This is something I have no experience with.
I don't either. My earliest experience is with the Atari 2600, which I think was, I feel like the first really huge console.
I think this was still kind of fringe for like the super gamers. So that man was named Will Wright. His creation was a helicopter game called Raid on Bungling Bay.
I wouldn't mind a raid on my bungle.
Baby. Do you want to be my bungling bay?
Off-brand.
That game went on to sell 30,000 units in the US and nearly 1 million units in Japan. And this early success was his first game. It solidified Will as a one to watch in the gaming industry. We got our eye on Will.
I love that.
Not hot, by the way. One thing that Will noticed while creating Bungling Bay is how much he enjoyed creating like the little maps and islands and landscapes in the design of the game. He liked that even more than playing the game itself. So now with his new street cred and the big payday, he started to think about creating a game where designing the world would be the goal. The result was a game called Sim City.
I feel like I know where this is going now.
Do you?
I feel like I can see where this is headed. Sim City, okay.
Perhaps we are living in a simulation. Are we the Sims?
I'm not convinced we're not.
I'm not also convinced we're not.
We're in a petri dish.
Will's next challenge was finding a publisher.
Oh my God, just real quick. How mad would Alistair be if he found out he was living in a petri dish?
Oh my God.
So dirty. He's just a germ. He's tried to be clean his whole life, and he is the germ.
But then he's like, his oatmeal is also germ.
Oh, he's eating germs. Germs eating germs, and I'm the germiest of all germs.
We're all in this big petri dish together.
I've been added to the petri dish to clean it up.
Okay. That makes sense.
He's like when you put 1 drop of soap in it, and all the germs like go away from it.
That tracks. So now Will has this idea for SimCity, so he has to find a publisher. So he had this game that he believed in. It was so special, so unique. There was no other game like it, and nobody wanted it. It's a game with no tangible goal. There's no points. There's no villains or bad guys. The only objective was to build a successful city.
I'm kind of with the rest of the world because I've watched you guys play these games. That one, Stardew Valley, yes. Stardew Valley, where you're just like, we got to run home and plant the wheat, and we got to water this, and don't forget to get the mail.
Oh, I loved getting the mail. I mean, you don't even like to get your mail in real life.
I hate getting mail. I hate planting. I hate all of it.
Why would you want to get pretend mail? Then in 1986, Will went to a pizza party.
Okay.
Where he met a man named Jeff Braun. Do you think he had some spicy pepperoni?
Hope his tummy's okay.
Tummy check, John. How are you doing?
I'm okay.
Okay, good. Holding strong. So Braun, this guy he meets at this pizza party, had been looking for the right opportunity to invest in a video game.
Braun. First name Braun?
Jeff Braun, last name Braun.
Sorry. Okay.
Last name Braun. They get to chatting. They discover they have a lot in common. And he sees Will's presentation for SimCity. And then the two agree to work together and create their own video game publishing company called Maxis.
These are the people. It's like nobody wants it. Okay, let's just start our own company. I wish I had that sort of mind.
Oh, for sure.
I wish I had the fearlessness of what all these people that we learn about do.
I mean, if we had an idea for a podcast and we pitched it to 30 people and they all said no, would we be like, we're going to start our own podcast company?
No. If Alistair didn't get all of our equipment and like help us, we'd be like, meh, okay. Nice try.
I think this we are a business advice podcast because the advice is everybody on Apple who says we're not, despite giving us 5 stars.
One person.
The advice
and
is,
right.
If you believe in your idea, don't just say, okay. Say, okay. I'm going to make forge my own path. That is our official business advice. And I think it rings really true. And it's true for here.
I think I'm going to say, okay.
I love that. So by 1998, SimCity is almost finished, and Will is reapproached by this company, Broaderband, which was one of the companies he pitched his game to originally that rejected him. And they're having a change of heart. They sign Will and Jeff's company, Maxis, to a distribution deal. So now they have the freedom and the capital to bring Will's vision of SimCity to the masses. So less than 2 years after Maxis was founded, SimCity hit the market. Sales were slow at first. People are like, why do we care?
What do I do?
And Will wondered if maybe the naysayers were right. They had been right all along. And then as people became familiar with the game, word spread, reviews come in, SimCity becomes a huge success.
How long? What are we talking here? Is this a few years?
Well, by 1992, over 1 million copies had been sold. And Will and Jeff worked to capitalize on the success. Now they're working on expanding the Sim universe. One of these games I have played. There was Sim Earth. There was Sim Ant. Did you play Sim Ant?
No.
This would not. I mean, if you think Sim Earth is boring, you played as an ant in an ant colony.
I figured that out from the name.
This game was so fantastically 90s. You would make your little ant tunnels, and you know who your enemy was?
Yeah.
A big spider.
Okay. This is the plot of A Bug's Life.
It might have been the inspiration for A Bug's Life. If you're listening and you played Sim Ant, please, I'd like to connect.
Please connect with us. Hey, real quick.
Connect with me on LinkedIn.
A few seconds ago, I thought you had said we were in 1998, but then you...
1988.
Okay.
Oh, did I say 98?
I think you said 98 because I was going to make a Titanic thing.
By 1988 is when SimCity was almost finished.
Okay.
So it was not 1 year after the release of the Titanic.
I know. I was like, she's not even going to mention the Titanic at
I mean,
all,
we're pre-Titanic.
Well,
I mean,
now I know that.
SimCity's out, and people don't even know
This is
what's to come.
This is probably what led to James creating Titanic. The world he was playing this game and so bored. He's like, the world needs more than this.
I think there was one of the expansions that was called Sim Titanic, and I bet Jim played that, and that was where he got the idea.
Wait, I can't tell if you're joking.
No, there wasn't.
Oh, okay.
But there were a lot of spin-offs that were not successful. So really, like, Sim City was the big one, and then he came up with Sim Ant, which, I mean, it was my favorite game at the time, but based on my research, it was not wildly popular.
I mean, you're almost in that meeting already, right? Because they're like, oh my God, this is so big. Everyone loves it. Like, what is the absolute opposite we could do? And someone's like, Sims Ant. And they're like, oh my God, genius.
It's genius. It was genius to me. But they're kind of feeling the pressure because none of their sequels or their expansions are as successful as the first hit. So Jeff and Will have to kick it into high gear. They have to like make good on their promise with this company. And they need to capitalize on what they did the first time. So now it is time for an official sequel. 1993, SimCity 2000 was released on Apple Mac. Fans went crazy.
So these are all computers. Like all of the versions of this so far is a computer.
Yes,
you don't get it for
games.
PlayStation or Nintendo or anything.
Not until later. These are just computer games.
Okay.
So despite the success of the SimCity franchise, Maxis had spent so much money on these failed spinoffs that they were in financial trouble, and they needed to find a buyer. So the company Electronic Arts, or EA, which is now one of the largest video game companies in the world, swooped in and offered $125 million to acquire the company. And while this saved Jeff and Will and their sim future, it also created a power struggle because they no longer had 100% creative control over what games they create.
Do you know how much they gave up?
I think, well, they were acquired, so I don't know if, I think they just were now owned by EA.
They're consultants.
Yeah, they're consultants. So they have to like pitch. They have to pitch their games that they do, which... If they're both Virgos, they're in trouble.
Yeah.
I'm assuming they are based on their attention to detail.
Of course.
So over the years, Will had been toiling with the idea of creating a simulation game that was more people-centric, but he didn't have the funding at his own company to bring that dream to reality. And then one morning in 1991, as Wright awoke in his house in the Oakland Hills, he smells smoke. He calls 911. Over the next half hour, the smoke gets worse. He evacuates with his family. And when they returned 3 days later, his entire house had burned down.
No.
In the months that followed, as he goes around replacing his belongings, he starts thinking about all the things that people need for a home. He says he hates to shop, and he was forced to buy all these things from toothpaste, utensils, socks, furniture. But there was something kind of enduring, something human about the process of building a home, and wondered if that could be applied to a video game. You seem skeptical. Do you think he's lying?
This feels like it was made up.
It was not made up. This is a real fire. I love this conspiracy theory.
I'm going to have to research this. Did everything really burn down?
Everything burned down. That's what he said. In fact, he said the only thing that remained was the ants. He said there were ants, and he thought that was really cool.
That is really cool.
But I like the idea of you making a conspiracy theory style TikTok about, would it shock you that Will Wright, the creator of The Sims, his house did not actually burn down as he claims?
That was not the inspiration for the game at all. No, but I just have learned, and we've talked about it, the older a company gets, the websites kind of like make these fairy tale origin stories.
Sure. This is widely reported, but you could put your Emmy award-winning research hat on it and debunk it, I'm sure, if it's debunkable. So the game was originally conceived as an architectural design game called Home Tactics, with themes such as carpentry, home construction, landscaping. It was kind of just more about like designing and building a house. And then as he started to dig deeper, he was thinking, is there a way to kind of integrate my idea for like a people-centric video game that he had always envisioned, and a house building video game where the success in the game would be measured by how happy the characters were or how well their home was serving them. So if SimCity seemed out there and was a tough sell, this was like beyond. And unlike before with Maxis, where it was his own company, to get support, as I said, he had to plead his case to the board at EA as to why they should invest in this game. And the enthusiasm for it was non-existent.
I mean, but this guy he was one to watch.
He was one to watch at a time, but he had some flops. He had some Hazingas, Sim Ant on that list. And they weren't willing to go out on a limb for something that felt so like just out of the box. They had never seen anything like that before. Because at the time, video games were a way to escape reality, live out a fantasy on screen. Action and violence were like the main themes, like Legend of Zelda, Madden, was a football game, Counter-Strike, a fighty game.
Pretending you're an ant.
Pretending you're an ant. My fantasy.
Yeah.
Did you know Al's fantasy is to be an elementary school janitor?
Yeah, I did know that. Of course I knew that.
Al would probably play a video game where you're a janitor in an elementary school.
God, is there anything worse? Did they have this in your elementary school when kids would puke, which they did all the time, and they would just cover it with sawdust?
Yeah, I feel like we've even talked about that before. I even said that to Al. It was like, you don't mind just having to like, in my kids' elementary school, the toilets are always overflowing because kids always like stuff too much paper down there. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, I mean, you got to do it, but the job is so great that, you take the good, you take the bad, you take them both, and there you have.
Oh my gosh. I mean, what was it? Wasn't Al the one that said we saw a video of a woman that had lost both of her arms and she managed to like pick up an orange, and he was like, that's the life that I want.
He was really jealous of how she was able to like, such a small moment was such an accomplishment for her.
It was just the simple things that he appreciated.
Yeah. And he is single, as I mentioned.
Yeah. And has arms.
And he does have arms. And he might be a janitor in the next 5 to 10 years. So the video games are seen as like a larger than life version of reality. And the game he is pitching at this time is a game where you have to wash dishes and take out the trash, check the mail, as you said. Al is perked up. He really likes this idea. I'm sure there was sweeping. They're saying, who would want to copy the monotony of everyday life? How is that escapism? Who is this for? But Will, he believed in the game, so he continued to fight for it. And he eventually wore them down so much that they gave them like a tiny, tiny budget. They peeled off some developers for it to try to see what happens if this game is put into action.
You know what's kind of interesting? You said this was 91, 92. And they're trying to like pitch this game where everyone's like, this is like boring, nothing happens.
Yeah.
Seinfeld came out in 1992
That's a good point.
also.
Show about nothing.
It was Show About Nothing that also got like a bunch of pushback and ended up becoming this huge iconic show.
Nothing is something.
Maybe because the 80s were so much about everything. In the early 90s, everyone was
Wall
like,
Street, sex,
neon,
money,
Swatch,
cash,
New Coke,
briefcase.
Max Headroom.
Exactly. Now we're like, guys, let's settle down.
Give me an ant. Give me a backpack.
Let me sweep.
I got a sweep. I have a letter in the box.
That is a really good thesis for your social anthropology class
Thank you.
at school. 3 books helped Will as he developed The Sims. So one of them was called A Pattern Language by Christopher Alexander, which is a collection of 253 timeless ways of building. And it shows how patterns can create satisfying living spaces. So this was how he got his inspiration for the developers as they design like the physical spaces in the game. The idea of this is that the value of architecture is measured by the happiness of the people who live in the building. I don't know how that accounts for like peeps or rugs or furs, whatever. And then there's the book Maps of the Mind, which compares more than 50 theories about how the mind works, which he was using to kind of like create his people in the game. And then Maslow's Theory of Human Motivation with Maslow's Hierarchy of Human Needs. Are you familiar with this hierarchy of human needs, the pyramid?
I'm not.
The bottom layer is a pyramid. The bottom one is like the most basic human need that anybody needs to survive is physiological needs. That's like food, shelter, water, sleep. And then above it goes safety, love, esteem, and at the top is self-actualization. Where are you on this pyramid of needs? Physiological needs, safety, love, esteem, or self-actualization?
I don't think I think I'm walking towards it. And when I get to it, I'll probably just sit down and look at it.
You're peering at it through a telescope.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, you did just have pizza.
I did. And I did get that Sabrina Carpenter record.
Is that safety, love, or esteem?
I guess my version of love.
Okay, so you might be closer than you think.
Okay.
So putting these works together, Wright is formulating a model of which to score the happiness of the people in what he's calling a dollhouse by their status, popularity, success, and by the quality of the environment that the player designs for them. So the more comfortable the house, the happier the people who live in it. So Will went to work. He has a small team of developers determined to bring his dream to life. And EA, they remain lukewarm in their support. They truly do not give a shit. And then in 1999, the game premiered at the Electronic Entertainment Expo, a 3-day video game conference in Los Angeles. Are you familiar with this? It's like one of those like big events. I'm sure there's like 45-minute YouTube videos of like the E3 Expo Day 2. Yeah. Walk along with me. It's like one of those things. Yeah. So this is an event for video game publishers to show off their titles to press and purchasers. It's like a crazy circus of nerds. David Bowie performed in 1999. It's just wild.
David Bowie performed there?
David Bowie performed.
I could see that. He had his finger on like the cutting edge.
He's kind of like a Cyberman, a little bit.
Yeah, Moon Boy. All those nerds are hooky.
He is a Moon Boy.
Yeah.
Does he have a song called Moon Boy?
I mean, he has what's his famous identity?
Ziggy Stardust.
Yeah, Ziggy Stardust.
Moon Boy.
Moon Boy.
Moon Boy.
AKA Moon Boy.
Moon Boy is a good screen name for you.
Why?
In the chat room.
Hollywood Justin. Wait, that's for off-brand.
You're giving these little nuggets to entice people to subscribe. So for the Sims team, the E3 stakes are very high. They knew that if they wouldn't generate any interest at E3 that year, that the game would be canceled for good. This was like make or break moment. Patrick J. Barrett III, quite fancy, one of the game's programmers wrote in this article, EA did nothing to help them. They hid The Sims away. The game wasn't even displayed on the large screen with the other titles' trailers. So like they were really like pretending like The Sims did not exist. At this big expo, this is the platform, your one chance to like get eyes on your game.
Just give it, I mean, they've already made it. Just give it a shot. They're putting it like in the garage.
They literally they were like, oh yeah, you're Z1000. That's your booth.
Yeah, your zebra level.
It's in the Burger King parking lot 4 miles away. So during The Sims, this is a backstory. So during The Sims development, the team had debated whether to use same-sex relationships in the game. So in this like a digital petri dish, they're saying that we want to model all aspects of human life from work to play and love. It was natural that there would be gay relationships, but there was also a fear of like how that might adversely affect advertising for the game. I mean, this is obviously the 90s. Will and Grace was out. Will and Grace was out, but they were already like not popular with EA. I think they kind of wanted to like lay low, not ruffle any feathers. And they eventually decided to leave same-sex relationships out of the game code.
Wow. It was just a code. All they had to do was like type in 6969 and the gays would have been there.
And that works on your computer too.
Wow.
If you Google 6969, 69 gay men show up at your doorstep.
Hey, Siri, what is 69ing? She doesn't. Never mind.
Has Siri
Take
ever worked even once?
Not once.
I only use it to know how old actors are.
Oh my God. And then
he does.
And you know what drives me crazy? Like, there's just a long enough Apple actually.
Yes, when you start asking a question, they go, uh-huh.
Uh-huh. Yeah. I'm like, so I want to know, uh-huh. And then I'm like, wait, did it not hear what I already said? Do I have to start over?
Then you have to start over. You're humiliated.
I hate Apple.
To know how far we have in technology.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh. That we still like, they haven't figured out how long that pause should be. Hey, Siri, what is 69ing? It's like they want you to go, hey, Siri.
Uh-huh.
What is 69ing? There's teenagers that
and
listen
then,
to
like,
this.
30 seconds of silence.
A teenager is on her way to school right now listening to this.
Oh,
I'll bleep all that.
Recline your chair.
Recline your chair.
Take a nap.
So as I said, they decided to leave the same-sex relationships out of the game code for the time being. But then this guy, Patrick J. Barrett III, who I mentioned, he joined the company in October 1998, and he didn't know about that decision. So he had just started this new job. His boss was actually out of town. He got assigned to basically write some new code, and he was given a document that outlined how social interactions in the game would work. So that's like the underlying rules for the game's AI that would dictate how the characters dynamically interact with one another. So he was just given this as like busy work while his boss was on vacation. They didn't actually think he would like be able to do it. But little did he know that the document he was given that outlined how the social interactions work was an old document. So it predated the decision to exclude gay relationships in the game.
Oh.
So its pages described like the web of the social interactions. Every kind of romantic relationship was permitted. And so he successfully wrote basic code for the social interactions, including same-sex relationships. Barrett, who is gay, he said, I probably should have questioned it or said like, hey, is this like, are you sure you want gay people in it? Whatever. But he said it just felt right. He implemented it. Will Wright, the creator of The Sims, he stopped by Barrett's desk and he said he liked the social interactions. He said he was glad to see the same-sex relationships back in the game. Nobody questioned it. It just kind of got like ignored and like slipped under the rug and they just kind of forgot about it. And everybody thought that the game would get killed anyway. There was probably this spirit of like, okay, let's just make the game we want and they're going to kill it anyway. We might as well just like at least have it be our vision.
Right.
So now we're back to early 1999. Barrett was asked to create a demo for the game to be shown at E3, the expo.
Yeah.
The demo would consist of 3 scenes from the game. These were called on-rails scenes. So they're not true live simulations, but one that you can kind of like pre-program the characters to act a certain way so that the scenario will shake out the same way every time to show the game in its best light. So one of the scenes that they were going to show in this demo, one of these 3 scenes, was a wedding between 2 Sims characters. Barrett had run out of time before E3 to give every Sim, because there were so many Sims in the audience of this wedding, to give every Sim like rails to be on, to know that they're going to behave the same way every single time. So on the first day of the show, audiences, the game's producers, bigwigs at EA, and all the press watched in disbelief as 2 female Sims attending the virtual wedding leaned in and began to passionately kiss. They had these 2 wedding guests.
Is there footage of this? Did the audience like go crazy?
The audience went crazy. It was hard to find video, but there's a lot of like live reporting of it because this is all press. So like everybody's just documenting it.
Yeah.
They had during a live simulation fallen in love as a guest at this wedding, and they had chosen this moment to express their affection. And following this kiss, talk of The Sims dominated E3.
It's just like when Madonna and Britney Spears kissed. You get 2 women kissing, man, the town will talk.
This gay guy, Barrett, the developer, he said, I guess straight guys that make sports games loved the idea of controlling 2 lesbians.
Makes perfect sense.
So now, like, the floodgates are open. The Sims is on everybody's list.
Wait, can I make a bad joke?
Yeah.
And the rest is herstory. Thank you.
And the rest is history.
Al, eat your oatmeal. So after The Sims' successful E3 showing, the game's future seemed secure. But Barrett and his teammates had a new problem to solve. How to decide the sexual orientation of individual Sims. This was the hurdle that they were up against. If you created a household with 2 same-sex Sims, like 2 men, they would always become gay just from the fact that they were around each other the most.
I mean, that is very accurate.
Do you find that to be true?
You put any two men in a room together for long enough, I'll get them.
A spinoff where it's you and Alistair living in a studio apartment for 2 months.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll see. We'll see what happens. So then he came up with a system that determined a Sim's sexuality through user-directed actions. That's what he says. So in the game, players were able to interact with Sims in different ways. So they could take a bath, eat food, go outside, perform other actions. Certain social interactions were tagged as romantic. So this is actually good. Like if you're like learning how to like be a person in the world, this is interesting. The game kept track of whether these were performed by same-sex or opposite-sex Sims.
Wait, if you're learning how to be a person in the world, what does that mean?
That's how you could learn if you're gay or not. Like with what kind of interactions that are romantic that you receive.
Oh.
So it got a little bit more complicated than just like two men being in the same room. But over time, as a Sim developed a relationship, their preferences are set. So like if you are getting flirted with by men, you might be gay.
Just because he's getting flirted with?
Yes.
Okay.
As determined in The Sims.
Got it.
But if the player was careful, you could become bisexual because the system worked so well that the same-sex code in the game was just so seamless that if you were equally receiving tagged social interactions, romantic from men and women, like just at the right like levels and the right frequency, you could become bi.
I didn't know The Sims was so sexual.
Well, you know, it's open-ended, and I feel like usually that's where everything ends up. There's not actual like sex in the game. It is censored. It is like a kid-friendly game. But
okay.
They call it woohoo.
Ah.
Woohoo. So EA publishes The Sims in February 2000, and it becomes Wright's biggest success at the time. In less than a year after the release of The Sims, it has sold almost 2 million copies in the US alone and made over $70 million.
Wow.
They had predicted, I think, that it would sell like 100,000 copies. So their estimate was like way below. And Will, he regained his status as a video game golden boy.
What does EA have to say about all of this?
Oh, well, now it is like their flagship product. They're seeing dollar signs. They've sent him back to work. They're making sequels, expansion packs. By the time the sequel was released in 2004, there were already 7 expansion packs. Even though it was a life simulation game, now there's an appetite for like anything is possible. So now there's wizards, beanstalks, or something called Magic Town. And Sims 2 is even a bigger hit, expanding the franchise even more with 4.5 million copies sold in the first year. So the game that EA wanted to destroy, they had no faith in. Now it is like their number one. Yeah, it's their number one priority.
Yeah.
Will stayed at the company until 2009. Even after he left, the innovation on Sims has continued. Celebrities have collaborated with Sims, of course, as celebrities always do. Katy Perry created an expansion pack in 2012.
That is so 2012.
It was called Katy Perry's Sweet Treats.
That is so on brand for Katy
It's
Perry.
her with like her cupcake boobs. You know, you can like do these mods where you can turn like all the trees look like cotton candy and all the houses look like gingerbread houses. It's like when she was very much in her candy era.
That's cute.
It's pretty cute.
You know, who would have a great one would be Bjork.
Oh, yeah.
That would be really quite something.
She should get a mod, a Sims mod pack. This is very 2012 or even earlier. In Sims House Party, the reward for a successful house party was Drew Carey showing up in a limo.
Whoa.
And a little text thing pops up that says, hey, my agent says that this was a really cool party. Like, can I stay? Isn't that so funny? What if that's how you judged your real house party as being a success? Like you thought it was a good night, but then you're like, Drew Carey didn't show up.
Drew Carey didn't drop by. Though he could. You know, he's now, as I'm sure you know, the host of The Price is Right.
Yeah, we know.
Which is now moved to Glendale, which is minutes away from us.
It's a stone's throw away.
We're always very close to running into Drew Carey.
I mean, he's never shown up to any of my parties.
He's an interesting man.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How so?
I watched The Price is Right. He's not very funny. And his body is quite unique. Like he went from being portly to like thin, but like kind of weird thin.
Yeah, I feel like that kind of happens sometimes when people lose a significant amount of weight. For some reason, it's like the proportions don't always catch up. And a part of me, I'm like, is that just because I'm used to him looking a certain way?
Yeah.
But I don't know.
And because he's older now too, so he's like not now he's like I don't know. He's just I'm very mildly fascinated by him. I don't want to say I'm fascinated
You're not
by
going to
him.
go out on a limb to say you're fascinated by Drew Carey.
No, but when I see him,
We're not in any danger of this becoming a Drew Carey podcast.
That's my next pod.
Spinoff.
Yeah, spinoff on just all things Drew.
Yeah, he
Drew
has
Carey
an
and
interesting...
Drew Barrymore.
He has an interesting career. Drew Barrymore does too.
I mean, talk about someone who's become a caricature of herself. Like, you've seen her show, right?
Yeah,
How, like,
it's
she
wild.
sits on her knees and like she's like
making out with Michelle Obama.
Yeah, she's like right in your
weird.
face, and like it's like if it was anyone else, it would be annoying. The way she talks, it's too like hippy dippy and like. But because it's her, it's okay.
She can kind of get away with it.
We love her because she is a success story, especially being a childhood actor and I think a drug.
She was like addicted to heroin at like 11.
Yeah.
Something crazy like that.
And you know who like loves her is Steven Spielberg. Apparently, he like calls her every birthday, and he's just I don't know. I love that little relationship.
I mean, E.T.
Right? E.T.
Phone home.
Talk about someone that's weird. E.T.
Talk about a weird body. Wait. E.T. and Drew Carey? Wait, okay, we need somebody put glasses on E.T. I think I'm onto something.
This is such a dumb story, but this happened yesterday, and I've told Elvis, I am tried to really make an effort to not comment on social media things with strangers because I know that it's absolutely pointless.
Yes.
But yesterday I was looking through like a feed about Beyonce touring and some guy, everyone, it's always like half and half. People are just so hateful and so mean. Other people love her and it's so great. And one guy's like, looks like an alien to me. And I was like, what
about Beyonce?
About Beyonce, because she has a kind of a weird promo shot for this tour. I was like, what a dumb comment. And so I clicked and looked on the guy.
Oh no.
His neck was like a foot long. And I couldn't.
That's what an alien would say to take the heat off of themselves.
I know. I was like literally not trying to be rude, but what's up with your neck? And it was like, he hasn't written back. I was hoping he would say something back.
John.
It's so long.
John.
He's an alien.
When they go low, we go high.
No, when they go low, I'll go down on it too.
We go neck.
We go neck. It was a long neck.
There's so many things being mean about someone's neck because I feel like you don't really notice your neck that much, but I feel like if somebody said something mean about my neck, it would like ruin me for the rest of my life. Like it could be so vague. It could be like, if you say something on social media, on Facebook or whatever, and then I like want to troll you, then I'll go, oh yeah, nice coming from you, necky.
Yeah.
Then you'd be like, oh my God, what's wrong with my neck?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How long does it take to give you a hickey? There'd just be all these neck.
There's just so many ways it can go. It's like, is my neck long? Is my neck wrinkly? Is it saggy? Is it weird? Is it too big? Is it too small?
I will say this happened yesterday too. Yesterday was a big day. I was watching the Kardashians and Kylie, I know everyone has their own opinions on Kardashians. They've been on and off my avocado list. Right now they're off of it. And Kylie was saying how when she was young, all the family would like grab her ears and make fun of her ears. And she's like, until they did that, I never thought one thing about my ears. And then she's like, for like a decade, I never wore my hair up because I thought I had crazy ears.
Aww.
And then she had a daughter who had the same ears. And she's like, I think my daughter's so beautiful. Therefore, my ears must be beautiful too.
I love that.
I do.
It's good to get inspiration about loving your body as it is from Kylie Jenner.
I just thought you were going to just say from a billionaire. And I was watching, and then she said something like, no, I'm almost 25. And I was like, good Lord.
Good Lord. I mean, her ears are probably the only thing that, if they are natural, she probably has like swapped out with someone else's ears now.
Okay. This is why I don't bring up the Kardashians.
I love the Kardashians. I'm just saying that's not where I look to for
beauty advice.
Love yourself in your own skin.
But you can look at it as for even people that do have all the money and do make all the changes still have insecurities.
Yeah. I'm sure.
What is going on with your
looking
neck?
in the mirror. Babe. John, something different about your neck?
Wait, seriously, what is going on with your neck?
What is going on with your
Why are you stretching your neck?
I'm not. Does it look long today? Is it better to have a long neck or a short neck? I feel like long is better.
It depends. I mean, long can be cool. There was no way I couldn't make fun of a guy who said that Beyonce looked like an alien when he had a 2-foot neck.
Was he also
had two giant almond
eyes? And in the background, was it Black Night?
It was pitch black. It was blurry, and he was in a spaceship.
Was Earth distant in the background of his picture?
Yes.
Okay. Well,
what I thought was a star was Earth.
Yeah, I think we know where he's coming from. They had an expansion pack called Sims Superstar, which featured appearances from celebrities including Avril Lavigne.
Oh, Yep.
Marilyn Monroe,
Jessica Simpson.
and Andy Warhol.
No.
Yes.
Post-death.
Yes. He would have loved it, don't you think?
Oh, yeah. He was all for anything. Any sort of like
Commentary, reproduction.
Making money, consumerism.
I want to show you a picture of this, the Andy Warhol. See what you think. I'm showing John Andy Warhol Sims.
Yeah, that's
wearing a black turtleneck. I mean, he looks pretty good.
People always either put him in a black turtleneck or a black and white striped shirt. They always give him the glasses, the white hair.
It kind of looks like him. People think it looks scary, but you know what? He kind of looks scary.
Okay.
I mean, a little bit. He liked it. He was artistic. The bleached hair.
He liked it. You know enough about Andy Warhol to be like, he liked people saying he looked scary.
I think, didn't he want to like bleach his hair white to kind of look like very abstract?
He wore wigs.
Well, yeah, he wore wigs. He wore wigs.
He wore wigs.
Yeah, he wore wigs.
He didn't bleach his hair white. He wore wigs.
Did you bleach your hair white or wear a wig when you were Andy Warhol?
I tried to bleach it white, and it turned like orange.
And then people called you Chucky, and it was mean.
And they call me Chucky.
Yeah.
They whispered it when I walked through the cafeteria. They'd go, Chucky.
That is mean. We don't condone any bullying of any kind, cyber or otherwise.
Exactly.
Unless your neck is really
Wow.
Then
and
all
she
bets are
bullies
off.
me all the time, so I don't know what she's talking about.
Are you curious about how this game is played, John?
No.
Oh, well.
So thank you so
Closing
much.
laptop.
This is fun. Actually, yeah, I was going to ask. I really have no idea. So let's say, all right, walk me from the beginning. I've got my disc. I insert it.
Insert your floppy.
It
Don't
chimes up.
touch the middle.
Don't touch the middle. Is there like do they have a famous like,
You know,
we are the Sims.
I don't think it starts with a famous chung.
Okay.
But what they're most famous for, I would say, is the language created in the game, which is called Simlish. Are you familiar with this?
No, but let me guess. It's kind of like gibberish. It's
Yes.
like,
That's honestly exactly it.
Thank you.
So they researched several real-world languages to find what Simlish should be. They were looking at Ukrainian, Navajo, Slavic, and then they ended up landing on something that is close to gibberish.
Yeah.
Several Simlish words are officially recognized, such as Nubu, means baby.
Nubu.
Nubu.
Are these like in the dictionary now?
Yeah, I mean, probably not Merriam-Webster. Actually, maybe in like 2012, it was like the word of the year is Nubu.
Nubu.
Katy Perry recorded some songs in Simlish for her expansion pack.
Is there anything more exhausting than Katy Perry? Even at her height when we loved her.
Yeah, we struggle.
And now, listen, we loved her documentary. We loved the moment right before she goes on stage.
Mm-hmm.
It's iconic.
Yeah.
Nothing more exhausting than KP.
We struggle with it.
Even the fact that she tried to buy the nunnery in my neighborhood. So now every time I drive from your house to my house, I look up at that nunnery and I'm like, Katy Perry.
She probably seeps into like 20 times a day.
Yeah.
Like she's just like peeking into your life, interrupting your flow. Of course. Of course. The most universally agreed upon greeting in Simlish is solsol, which is like aloha, can mean like hello or goodbye. Here's some other phrases you could learn. Atote, I really have to pee. Awasapoa, I'm bored. Boobasnot, I don't like you.
Boobasnot.
Which now that I'm thinking of it, I really have to pee, I'm bored, and I don't like you. Those just seem like those would be helpful ones for you to learn.
You know what? They're all a little neggy. Do they say anything nice in there?
Oh, Phoebe Lay is I'm hungry. Oh, me Pooba is I'm pregnant.
How do you say your neck looks long?
I think you might be on your own for that one. It's not officially recognized as a language that's translatable, though I'm sure...
Lunga bingo.
Lunga bingo. If you say lunga bingo to that guy, he'll know what it means.
Oh, I was going to say it to you.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Is something wrong with my neck? Is it looking different today?
Let's get you a pashmina.
So you start the game with 20,000 simoleons. So that's their money. And that's where... Oh. And that's what you use to start your life. So you could buy like an empty lot and build a house. You could move up in the ladder. You could get a job, have a family. The world is so rich that literally anything you say has been possible in the game. And that is really true for the newer versions of the game. Now they're up to Sims 4, which came out 2014. So that was like quite a while ago. Everybody's chomping at the bit for a new Sims release.
The newest one is 11 years old.
Yes, and
it's the
is
25th
still...
anniversary. There's no 25th anniversary like version.
They thought it would be coming out. It's not ready yet. 2026 is what they're hearing now. We'll bring the new Sims. But people still play Sims 4, and it is widely beloved. Apparently in the early version of the game, the game was really hard. It was really hard for your character to not die. your
Die.
Sims would
You can
constantly be catching on fire and dying in the original version of the game. You can die, you can have babies, you can work as literally go to medical school, become a doctor and see patients. You can act out any fantasy in your entire life. You could be a vampire. You could do whatever you want.
So when you die, do you just start over? You get another 20,000 and start over? Or
You turn into an urn. And you can play with other characters in the game. I mean,
as
you
the
can
urn?
die. I mean, I think the urn is the end of your story.
Oh, okay.
So as I mentioned, Sims 4 has been out for over 10 years, and it has so many expansion packs. It has so many additions. Anybody can create a mod for the game to kind of like make their own version of the game. The community online is so vast that people who are super fans of the game, they don't even really play it. They just like devote all their time to creating these mods or like websites to kind of like manage the community or integrate within the game.
So what is it? What's a mod exactly?
A mod would be like basically a custom built element to the game that anybody could create and add. So it's really open-ended. It's really user generated. So people really have fun with it, and people like devote a lot of time to playing The Sims. Still to this day, over 10 years later, it is still maintained its popularity, and people are chomping at the bit for The Sims 5. So if somebody's a Sims listener, I'd like to know your journey up with this game. Do you still play? Have you not played in years? If the new one comes out, would you play? Because this is one that has like die hard fandom.
This does seem like a thing that had a lot of fans who now have kids who probably have stepped away from it. Maybe they will get their kids into it.
Yeah, maybe. But it also seems like Al was saying, that there's a story with Second Life. It's similar to this role-playing game where somebody like their family died. They like didn't feed their kids, and like it's so addictive and so immersive that it comes with a risk. I don't know if you would willingly give this to your children without accepting that maybe you'll never see them again.
I'm curious if I could see myself getting addicted to it for a short period of time. But now if I play it and I'm all into it and I create this world and I've got my gay woo-boo or whatever and I get bored of it and I leave it. Like when I reboot it or turn it on in like 2 years, am I dead? Am I an urn? Like, do I just open into Urn City?
You're like, I'm excited to see what my husband's up to.
And we're just like two urns on a mantle?
I mean, what a way to go, though.
No, but is that what happens? Like, if I ignore it, do I die?
I think you can, like, pause the action.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think you can.
They're not like in there, like, when I turn off, they're not like, he's coming back. He's coming back.
They're knocking inside the computer and you can't hear them. Do you hear a little like this at night?
And
those are your
like,
Sims begging for water.
My Siri's just like, My Sims
Siri, remind me to feed my Sims.
Because, I mean, I didn't know if it was like, there was another popular thing in the 2000s, those like little toys that you had to like feed and stuff or they would die.
It's very Tamagotchi, yes. And this is called a God game. So this is like, Tamagotchi's kind of like that, where you get to play God. And playing God does appeal to me. And that's part of why like I'd be afraid of letting a game like this in my life, because I feel like I could very easily hand over all control of my life to this game.
All right.
It seems so addictive. I have a little bit of like a city planning, like I don't know, like neighborhood building. People, I like to play with dolls a lot when I was a kid. Dollhouse. This really, really appeals to something inside me. So I have to avoid it like the plague.
The last version that came out, Sims 4, was it then available? And I hope people aren't listening like, God, John really knows nothing about Sims. I don't. Is it now available on all the platforms?
And it's free now. So you can get it on like your video game console, but the Sims 4 is now free as of 2022. So anybody can play. If you are curious.
It's free?
You can play for free.
How do they make their money?
I don't know, actually. Maybe there's like ads and stuff in the game, but it became like open for anybody to play in 2022.
What?
So if anybody's listening and you're curious and you're willing to hand over, you know, it would be good if like you're in the hospital. If you just like you shattered a kneecap, you have like a long road ahead.
You didn't pull over when we told you to and you wrecked your car.
And you're in the contraption that like hoists you up.
Like one leg up with your toes coming out of the cast.
The toes coming out the end, but you still got a little finger to clickety-click on a mouse. You got a laptop. That now might be a good time to play The Sims, because I think time will fly.
Yeah, or binge off-brand.
Yeah.
On and off-brand.
And the hospital will be like, okay, you're all ready to go. And you're like, no, I'm good. I'm going to stay here for a few more weeks.
Did you look at my woo-boo and make sure my woo-boo is okay? You're like, what? And you're like, Zika baga. And you're like, he's gone. We've lost him. John,
based on all this, is The Sims on brand for you?
Wow, this is tough. Do I have a desire right now to play? No.
Okay.
Do I want to watch you play? No. Would I have the Katy Perry expansion pod?
You could.
This is tough. I don't want to say it's off-brand for me, but I do kind of feel like it is. I can't say I'm not a little bit fascinated by it. Like maybe I could tinker around with it, but I don't have a strong pull for it.
It's one of those tough things where even tinkering around on it requires so much front labor. Like you have to like, what does your Sim's nose look like?
Right.
It's like you spend 3 days, like you haven't even finished. It's like, what's nail polish?
And how I know I am not wanting that right now at the place I'm house sitting right now, I used their Hulu yesterday and they had 2 profiles made for the 2 people that live there. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and just make a guest one because I don't want like the Kardashians showing up in their feed and stuff or all the things I watch. So I made a guest one. And like the guest one was like, let's make your profile guest, pick 5 of your favorite TV shows. I was so annoyed.
Yeah,
like even just trying to find one, I was like, can't I just watch TV? Like, what are your favorite genres?
Everybody's gathering information.
I know. And it asked me my birthday. I was like, what do you need that for?
That's for your doctor only.
It's the person I'm house sitting for.
Did you pick a
They just want to know how old I am. They like put that in there.
They made a custom code.
Yeah.
What did you pick as your avatar? That's a real soul searching moment, trying to pick your avatar.
Generic smile face. That's what they had too. So I didn't want to all of a sudden like, I'm a crazy monkey.
Now you're
like,
Groot.
Yeah, they're like a pastel smiley face.
That's fine. And well, yeah, if you're not interested in customizing your avatar on a streaming platform, you're not going to want to spend 4 days designing your furniture, your kitchen, your whatever.
Yeah, I guess I'm going to have to say it's off-brand for me. But I'm not taking it. It's kind of off-brand in the way things go on and off of my avocado list.
Yeah.
I could see it. Maybe. I feel like the only way I would get into it is if I happened to see someone playing it and watch them and thought it was really neat.
Yeah.
I can't imagine like downloading it and starting myself.
You would have to drop in on somebody who has been playing it for like 4 years and you like come into a party and they're playing it and you can kind of like sit on the couch while somebody else is like, they're like, want to see what happens when my vampire drinks this potion that like kills
and
their
more than
enemy.
likely, if they've played it for that long while they're doing it and they're so excited, I'm like kind of like just side-eyeing them like, oh God, you're so sad. This is what you do. But then I'm like, John, you went to 2 record stores today to get signed albums. Like we're all sad. So
yeah, we're all sad in different ways.
This is the longest way of me saying that Sims is off-brand for me.
Well, I'm going to have to agree just out of my own personal safety. I'm going to say it's off-brand for me because energetically, I cannot let this into my life.
Yeah. Well, you're a mother of 2, and you're living Sims.
Yeah.
You have woo-boo all the time with David.
I do like to live. I think that's like, if you get the desire to like do something in Sim world, maybe just try to do it in real world first and then see if you can sustain that.
Yeah. If you want to build a house, go build a real house.
Build a real house. Become a real vampire.
Yeah, let aliens really probe you.
I think that's a really good point.
Try it all. That might be a good rule of thumb for video games. Try it in real life first. If you want to do Mario Kart, just go drive really fast and throw bananas at people.
Fast and wild. If you want to play Mortal Kombat.
If you want to play Donkey Kong, go buy some barrels on Etsy and throw them at your neighbors.
Sure. I think this is really, really good advice because we need to be getting out of cyber world and into the real. You know, everybody knows their Sim neighbor's name. Do you even know your real neighbor's name?
Yeah, Elizabeth.
Oh, okay. Me too, Danny and Joe.
I texted her yesterday.
About what?
I was like, there's a package that got delivered. Can you grab it? That's what we do for each other. I have keys to her home. So, like, if she has a big package out front, I put it in her house for her.
That's really nice.
It is nice to have that one neighbor that you do that with.
How's your upstairs neighbor, by the way? New neighbor?
Been great.
Fantastic.
Occasional thumps and thuds, but, like, overall, could not be happier.
You have bad upstairs neighbor luck. Somebody will be, like, moving in. There'll be a box you see on the side is just written, like, tap shoes.
But yeah, so thank you for asking. He's been great. And not only that, he said the one time I met him, he likes to stay places a long time. So he's quiet and wants to be here for a long time.
That's
I'm
good.
all on board.
If you see him like starting to date somebody who looks like they might be a tap dancer, you have to sabotage.
Dating at all. Because if you start dating, then eventually they're like, we should get a place of our own.
Good point.
No, I will never let him. Rob will never date anyone.
Mark my words, Rob will never find love.
Rob, I swear to God, if you find this pod, you'll never date.
I
Well,
love
thank
that.
you so much. This was a very informative episode. Another one, a classic Marisa brand that I knew nothing about that I know people are going to have so many comments on this.
It's fun to celebrate a 25th anniversary because, it takes a lot to stay around, stay relevant that long. And even still, I think like over 10 years later, still relevant, still on everyone's lips. This is going to be hopefully a big one for a lot of people. And as I mentioned, if you have thoughts about The Sims, if you played The Sims, send us a message. I want to know what your Sims have gotten into.
Yeah, and if they've gotten anything a little dark, we can talk about that off brand as well.
If
so
there's anything
all stories are welcome.
A little devious.
Yeah, if you spent too much time in a room with another man and all of a sudden found yourself gay, we want to hear about it.
On or offline.
And if you know anything about Katy Perry, please give us the tea. Because that's our third podcast, Slammy and Drew Carey and Katy Perry. And Drew Barrymore.
Interesting. Okay,
well,
great.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So I want to give a few shout outs before we go for our Insta Egg. If you are not aware, every Wednesday on our Instagram story, I post an Insta Egg puzzle. If you solve the puzzle, you will not only figure out what our brand is going to be for that week, you will also get a freak badge. A lot of people are collecting these badges now. A couple of times I'll forget to send them. I'll be like, I didn't get my badge. So you'll get the badge.
Do you think there's Sims Us and like they have their badges displayed on the wall of their Sims house?
I hope so. We've got to put us in Sims.
That's cute.
Are there podcasts in Sims?
Maybe.
So in addition to the badge, you also get your name added to the Wheel of Freaks. And every week we spin the wheel and pick 5 Freaks of the Week. So I'm going to give the shout out for those 5 people now. And this was for the Melting Pot Insta Egg. Chris Ingelis, I hope I'm saying that correctly. Ashley, Caesar, Jillian Wilkins, and Michael Roberts. I know some of you have been listening for a very long time, so thank you so much for the support. Thanks for guessing the Insta Egg, and congratulations on being our Freaks of the Week.
And while we're giving shout-outs, I would like to give some shout-outs to some very lovely freaks who left us 5-star reviews on Apple Podcasts. Dalton Angela says, love, 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 discovered on a recommendation from my best friend. And I have to say, I feel like we could also be best friends with Jon and Marisa. Oh, we are best friends. We'll be best friends with you.
Full right now. Marisa can.
I'm wide open. Lazy Yogini says, laugh out loud, and says, from one culture queer to another, this Cincinnati gal loves Jon's hometown references, the brand education, and the banter. Very fun.
Oh, I love another CQ.
KDLS _FAJ says, hashtag old men can be hot. Another doughhead who's now a huge brand freak, one of the best pods out there. We're such a delight, have the best chemistry, and are extremely lovable and endearing. Guys, this is so nice. If you haven't left us a review on Apple Podcasts, please do that. You can get a shout out on the show, and it really just boosts our spirits.
More than you know.
Way more than you know.
You have no idea. I'm hanging on by a thread.
It's kind of all we have. So if you haven't done that, please leave us a 5-star review and some kind words on Apple Podcasts. Check out our Instagram @OnBrandThePod, TikTok @OnBrandThePodcast to play Jon's Insta Egg game. And check out our Patreon if you want more of me and Jon. It's less brand history and more whatever the hell
brand mystery
the rest of it is. Learn how Jon really feels about the Trader Joe's mini insulated tote. Ugh. And with that, we'll be back next week with an all-new episode.
And remember, we may go off topic, but we will always be on brand.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Find yourself looking for a new job or change in career? Monster.com is here to help. We are not only here to bring you job postings, but also AI interview prep and salary tools, expert career advice, and top-notch resume services. We've got everything you need to land your perfect job fit. Discover the magic of finding the ideal job with Monster.com. Your future starts now. Visit Monster.com today. Your next job opportunity is just a click away.
If you're looking to streamline your audio advertising buys and maximize your revenue, look no further than Triton Digital's programmatic audio advertising exchange, A2X. The private exchange consists of only licensed broadcasters and top-tier internet radio publishers, assuring the quality inventory and brand safety you can trust. Visit www.tritondigital.com to learn more.